got to jump right back into Detroit Lions training camp.
Ben Johnson. He had a really great press conference.
Genius, Ben Johnson.
Yeah. Go check out the Detroit Lions YouTube. Watch the whole press conference. It's great. We're going to touch on a couple of the clips, but the whole thing is great. You just really get to see how confident and how much savvier Ben Johnson is, even as a coach. Like, you can see him taking the steps to be a head coach one day. I always thought part of the reason, obviously the situation on field, everything about being in Detroit works for him. He could have gone and been a head coach, but I think he has a self-awareness to, hey, I want to learn how to be like Dane, get some more out of Dane Campbell, that the trust that the players have in him. But he was talking yesterday about this tight end room. Rookie All-Pro Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, who they matched his qualifying offer that he signed with the 49ers, the rival, the budding rivalry. He talked about this room and how strong it is when someone asks about that number 3 spot. So check out this clip of Ben Johnson talking about the tight ends.
Yeah, listen, it's the best room that I've been around in 13 years now, from top to bottom, 1 to 6. These guys, they've all played ball in this league, and you can tell it with their approach and really how they block, how they run routes out on the field. It's been very impressive. So that room, the competition is lights out right now. In terms of the 3rd spot, I think Coach Campbell, myself, Brad, we all, that spot needs to be able to wear a ton of hats, because you just don't know. You got Laporta with his skill set, you got Wright with his skill set, and that 3rd spot needs to be smart enough to fill in either spot if need be. And so the versatility is at a premium. FIP certainly needs help there on special teams, and so that plays a part also. But we need a smart player that can wear multiple hats. It's a bonus if we can get some backfield work, if he can do some fullback type jobs, or if he can split out wide. The more you can do increases your value right there.
There it is.
Man.
There it is. Talking about not just the depth of the room,
but the versatility.
The competition for that 3 spot, and what they value in tight ends. It's not everyone can be Sam Laporta, but he's the pro. He can do so many things. They're looking for multiple traits out of their entire tight end room. So we're talking Laporta. We're talking James Mitchell's in the running for that 3rd spot. Shane Zylstra. We got Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra, Sean McKeon, and Parker Hess. Parker Hess has been having a good training camp, according to just about every beat writer I've talked to and every article I've read. Parker Hess is coming on strong.
Someone has to explain to me, what are the Lions cooking up right now? Because when I look at their team, I'm like, you know what? We haven't really paid that much attention to it up until now, but the tight end room is solid. The first 4 names up there, obviously you want Sam Laporta in. He's one of the best players in the NFL as a pass catcher.
Yeah.
Period. But after that, I'm comfortable with any of these other tight ends in there, especially with the schemes that they can cook up. That's where my mind is. Defensively and offensively, they have so much versatility. They're moving players to positions that we're like, yo, that's going to put them in a spot where they can call or show one look and absolutely fool a defense or fool an offense and do something completely different, because the people that they have, the personnel they have, is just that versatile.
It is. And the second highlight I'm going to show you of a play, touchdown against Green Bay, actually, St. Brown's touchdown will show that. So actually, I have 3 short clips for you. Only one we're going to break down in depth, but can you play, JB, this
Justin,
first one?
It's just all in the camera. Damn, Justin, you normally bear crawl. This the one day you don't want to bear crawl. That's crazy, bro. It's wild.
Let's look
Shout out to that dude, Justin.
Sam Laporta's first touchdown last year. First touchdown of his career, week 3 against the Falcons. I want you guys to see this, because this starts to show what we were going to expect with Laporta coming up. We see St. Brown a motion across the middle. A lot of this is due to the respect that St. Brown has to demand. But they're in a 2 tight end set. They got Laporta and they got Brock Wright over on the left side of the line. This forces the Falcons defense, which if you paused it and slowed it down, you'll see they got 10 guys in the box, and there's one safety that has to come down closer to the line of scrimmage, wondering what Laporta and Brock Wright are going to do. And then St. Brown, he comes motioning across the line. So they're focused on St. Brown, and that allows Sam Laporta to hit this move, looking like a vet. This is game 3 of his rookie year already starting to develop that trust. Fantastic play. That's just to set up this next clip. This is the very next week against the Packers, and this is the one I want to dig into a little more with you guys, because there's so much what you were talking about, how they can put so many different types of players, whether it's 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 4 wide receivers. You put so many looks for a defense, and the NFL is about matchups. It's about making the defense have to choose between 2 players. It's about making
matchups and trends.
Yeah, making the defensive coordinator have to figure out how to scheme something up that keeps them available to follow all the different things that the Lions could do. So you're going to see on this, there's 2 back-to-back plays. One's like the end of a highlight, but it's a nice pass and catch from Laporta that helps set up the touchdown pass to St. Brown. So we see this over the middle, a fantastic pass, a catch and run after the catch from Sam Laporta. And then it sets up what looks to be just an easy touchdown here. This is where Amon-Ra St. Brown, he looks like he's going to hit a little stick route. The safety or the DB who's covering, maybe it was the nickel, he bites. He bites because when you look at it, and maybe the next time it runs through, JB, if you could pause it like right when it gets to the same, like right about here. Okay, so it's paused. You see 2 running backs. So it's an empty set. There's no running back in the backfield. You got 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and St. Brown. Normally when you have an empty backfield, you got 3 or 4 wide receivers out there because Jared Goff's got to get the ball out.
Right.
Like you're looking for them you're looking for Jared Goff to get the ball out quick. But they can now deploy this with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs on the right side. You got Brock Wright and Sam Laporta on the right side of the line.
It's nasty.
And when you look at the safety above where St. Brown is, sort of lined up just to the left of the line, I think that's we got David Montgomery and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. Montgomery's going to go out to the flat. You're going to see the safety have to start to creep down. He's looking at St. Brown, but he sees Sam Laporta on the other side coming down the seams. He's looking at Sam Laporta this whole time and starts to go towards Laporta. When St. Brown runs his stick route, he hits that, and the DB covering him comes up. St. Brown breaks his ankles, heads to the left corner of the end zone. Jared Goff just gives him a lob up. But that's all set up, and it all looks so easy because of what Laporta did the play before, because that they can put Laporta and Brock right out there. They got Gibbs out to the right, and Montgomery, who was having a huge game at this point. This was his 32-carry game.
Yeah.
They have to also keep an eye on him out on the flats. And what it leads to, JB, if you run it, is just a nice, easy, watch St. Brown here and watch the safety above him. He's going to run a move, break his ankles, and then all of a sudden St. Brown is wide open for the touchdown because they're focusing on everybody but the all-pro wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's why they drafted Sam Laporta. That's why they're drafting Gibbs, because they can run out so many different sets that this defense doesn't know what to do.
So the question I asked, they're already doing is just they have that much more personnel and depth this year than they did last year to be able to run these sets even more. That's the thing. It's that's a crazy set, bro.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to score. I'm just sitting here wait. You run your wide receivers out to the flats, out to the wide receiver slots realistically because I still have Brock Wright, Sam freaking Laporta, and Amon-Ra St. Brown out there. We're still cooking with this offense.
Yeah.
I think back on past Lions teams, and I'm like, can you imagine that? You're taking out, you're running Calvin Johnson, Pettigrew, and then one of the running backs that are not getting 100 yards ever for Matthew Stafford, out to the running backs out to the wide receiver positions. Hey, where we are right now is so crazy, and Ben Johnson is a maniacal madman.
Yeah, and they're able to run this and get him to jump like that because they're expecting shorter throws from Jared Goff. They're expecting him to try to get it to Laporta or St. Brown on that stick route. But Ben Johnson is savvy enough. All right, we know that they're going to come down on this. Let's run this.
And they know Goff can handle the pressure.
And they trust their offensive line to give Goff and St. Brown that extra half a second to full second to be able to run that play. Everything is in unison. And I wanted to show these plays because this is another reason why we don't need to worry as much about the wide receiver depth. Yeah. We're trying to figure out who's going to be the number 3, or if it's Khalif Raymond, who's going to be the 4, DPJ,
and they only have one wide receiver in that set.
Yeah, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and 1 wide receiver. Granted, this offense is just different. We have to look at it differently than we're used to. Like it's non-traditional things. It's unique because of their drafting of Laporta over a Michael Mayer or a Musgrave. Like, not to shit on those guys, but what Sam Laporta can bring, what he's already shown in his rookie year, sky's the limit for this offense. And with Ben Johnson, another year with Ben Johnson and the same offense. You had Kevin Zeitler, a Pro Bowl offensive lineman.
You know what it's showing us too is that we underestimated Ben Johnson. When we see certain picks, we were wondering like Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. We were wondering like what's going on at that time. We felt like maybe we could trade back to a lot of people who wonder what are they doing. Now looking at just that one play that you just showed, it's like, oh, that's why they went that route. They're making sure that they have what they need to run the schemes that they have. Because think about how off kilt you keep a defense. Defenses go off of trends. They know what they did last year. They know what what. Okay, Jared Goff is gonna have kind of this favorite type of player. We know when he drops back this way. But with a Ben Johnson, it's almost like he's not allowing this team to kind of get stuck in the ruts or to fall back into some of the things that you're used to. How do you scheme for this Detroit Lions team right now? And that's what I do believe also gives them that advantage this year, next year, and during their Super Bowl window. Because Ben Johnson, like that one play encapsulates everything that I was trying to effectively say. And it's like to know that they've added more talent to that base.
Yes.
They're going to be cooking.
It's wild. And we can have the Jared Goff discussion another day, but what is he the best in the NFL at? And has been for several years. It's the play action pass.
Yes, sir.
Like that factors into it too, where you're now taking his best skill, or he's the best at doing that, one of his top skills, to be able to incorporate that into an offense that has a strong running game, has a strong. It all fits well, and we won't go into depth on this last clip, but those two, week 3 and week 4, you start to see the trust build between Goff and Laporta by week 8. Like only a couple weeks later, the Raiders game, if you remember, kind of dominated the Raiders, but it wasn't like that all game. It took a half to get into it. With 31 seconds left in the second quarter, we're going to see this touchdown pass to Sam Laporta, and if you can see, they'll pause it in maybe the second time through, JB. If you can time it, like when we get the back view of right when Jared Goff sort of pulls his arm back, you can see the trust built between Jared Goff and Sam Laporta. And it's like this with other players too, but we see it from a rookie tight end. Look when he throws this ball. He's throwing right as Sam Laporta. He hasn't even gotten into his break yet. You see two linebackers, one covering Laporta, one across the middle. Goff not only trusts his arm to get it to Laporta, but the ball placement. Like, their accuracy is one thing. Giving the tight end, giving your pass catchers a chance
those golf
to
windows,
catch the ball. Yeah, it's completion attempts to completions. But ball placement, this is going to look like it's behind Laporta, but it's thrown behind Laporta on purpose to avoid the interception. Mm-hmm. The point I wanted to make is the trust that Goff has in Laporta by week 8 to be able to let this one fly just before the half when they could get a field goal. I think it was like first and 10, second and 10. He let it fly, and it was a touchdown. You go into the locker rooms with all that momentum. And, yes, now they got to figure out what to do in the third quarter. But this is how they ended. These 3 plays showed me so much about that relationship with the tight end, all the different things they can do. Like this, he's throwing it right now. Like, that's wild.
And we know it's going to be a big part of the tight ends are going to be a big part of this offense, especially what didn't they matched the contract offer for Brock Wright, right?
Yeah,
they did during the offseason.
Yeah.
That's what and we all thought at the time, man, we like Brock Wright. I remember we were on this show talking about it, like, are they going to match this thing? It didn't look likely. Then when they did, because when we were discussing it from a perspective of, you know what, they might not match it, Broder was a little hurt. KG was a little hurt. Like, you know what, I don't know how this is going to affect us. Brock Wright is probably a little bit underrated because of how good Sam Laporta was as a rookie last year. But then they matched it. And we instantly, you know what?
They need him to do what they do with Laporta. Like, they need Brock Wright and the difference.
2 tight end sets and such, an extra blocker.
So then the next week, I think they had a bye week after that.
Yeah.
And that was Monday Night Football, by the way, in front of the nation. Bye week, they go play the Chargers. Remember that throw Goff to Laporta over the
yes.
It all sets up like weeks in advance. They're doing these things to Laporta or to St. Brown, and then when you least expect it, including the Jets game back in 2022, Brock Wright. Mm-hmm. Hey, he's here too.
Yep.
It's this chemistry from top to bottom that's something that Lions fans should be excited about.